The indoor track and field teams open up their seasons.
And the ice hockey team looks to make the playoffs.
It's the season finale of All Access, and it starts right now. Welcome to All Access, the show that is as stacked with talent as the Boston Red Sox and Golden State Warriors combined. I'm Cody Decker.
And I'm Chris Devine. Both those teams have been making moves in different ways as of late, and Rowan's teams are looking to move up the standings as the season rolls on. The swimming and diving teams had a big meet this past weekend, so let's give you the recap. Cody?
Thanks, Chris. The men's swimming and diving team took part in the WPI Gompe Invitational, which began on Friday night. The first day of action was highlighted by the 800 freestyle A relay team of Jesse Novak, Eric Fierstein, Anthony Czar, and Paul Long. The team won with a time of 6 minutes, 44.43 seconds, which broke a school record lasting 4 years and an NCAA B cut. The profs also broke the meet record, which was set by Stevens in 2015.
The men's swimming and diving team took to the pool for day 2 of the WPI Gompe Invitational. The 200 freestyle A relay team of Eric Feuerstein, Nate Wodowicz, Nick Marks, and Jesse Novak won with a time of 1 minute, 23.82 seconds. Novak won the 50 free with an NCAA B cut time of 19.91 seconds, and John Morris won the 1 meter dive with 471.5 points. John Tepper claimed second in the 500 freestyle.
The men's swimming and diving team finished third at the WPI Gompe Invitational this weekend. There were 13 total schools that participated in the 3-day competition. Rowan totaled 4,198 points combined between both the men's and women's teams. Jesse Novak won the 100 free with a time of 44.54 seconds, and Eric Fierstein won the 200 free with a time of 1 minute, 41.83 seconds. Nick Marks won the 200 butterfly, and John Morris won the 3-meter dive with 473.05 points. The 400 freestyle A relay team of Novak, Fierstein, Nate Wodowicz, and Anthony Czar won with a time of 3 minutes, 3.33 seconds, also making the NCAA B cut.
On the first day of the 3-day WPI Gompe Invitational, the women's swimming and diving team for Rowan was not entirely out in full force. The 800 freestyle A relay team was able to come in 11th place, while the 800 B relay team finished 17th. Looking at individual performances, it was Carly Timmons leading the way for the profs in the 1650 freestyle, taking 9th place in the event.
The women's swimming and diving team was in action again for the second of the 3-day WPI Gompe Invitational. The big stories of the day for Rowan was the 200 freestyle A relay taking 3rd place, along with the 400 medley relay finishing 3rd, setting a school record time of 3 minutes, 58.72 seconds. Bailey Howard, who was on the 400 medley relay team, also won the 100 breaststroke by a time of 1 minute, 7.72 seconds.
And on the 3rd day of the event, the women's team turned in great performances to help Rowan get the 3rd place finish. Miranda Coughlin was able to take 2nd in the 100 freestyle and 3rd in the 200 freestyle, while teammate Bailey Howarth finished in 3rd in the 200 breaststroke. Worcester Polytechnic Institute finished in 1st place with a total score of 5,136 points.
And now for the latest on the MLB Winter Meetings and the top team in the NFL, we send it over to Thomas DiNapoli for this week's Pro Talk.
Thanks, Cody. Now to the wacky, crazy, and unbelievable world of pro sports. The MLB Winter Meetings are heating up. Multiple trades went down, such as the Royals acquiring outfielder Jorge Soler in exchange for Royals closing pitcher Wade Davis. Chris Sale swapped his White Sox for Red Sox, and the Nationals acquired outfielder Adam Eaton. Aroldis Chapman signed with the New York Yankees for $24 million more than any reliever ever has. Sticking with baseball, where the Baseball Writers Association of America sent out a tweet saying that they passed a measure mandating that all Hall of Fame ballots will be public starting in 2018. It remains voluntary for this year's election. If you ask me, this had something to do with the backlash from fans and writers about the 3 people who did not vote for Ken Griffey Jr. to get inducted, but then again, no one asked me. Over to football now, where the Cowboys won their 11th straight Thursday night at the Vikings. Dak did not have his best game as he completed 12 of 18 passes. His counterpart and former Eagles great, Sam Bradford, went 32 for 45 in the air. The game itself came down to the last 30 seconds. The Vikings were looking for a tie via the two-point conversion, where Bradford completely airmailed the pass to Kyle Rudolph, sealing the victory for the boys. The Cowboys moved to 11-1 and face my New York Giants on Sunday night. On Sunday, the WWE pay-per-view Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, or TLC, took place. The highlight of the show was the match between WWE World Champion AJ Styles against Dean Ambrose. In what was a well-wrestled match with excellent table and ladder spots, it was James Ellsworth turning on his friend Dean Ambrose that raised eyebrows. Dean was on the ladder reaching for the title when Ellsworth knocked down the ladder, sending Dean through 3 tables. This allowed AJ Styles to retain and continue to be the face that runs the place. That's all I have for you on this week's Pro Talk. Later, Cody and Chris have more from the basketball court. But after the break, Kevin hosts a Rowan Pro Sports Hot Roundtable. So stay tuned for more All Access.
Welcome back to All Access. Time for our Rowan Roundtable. Joining me are all of the All Access talent to discuss some hot topics around pro sports and Rowan sports. You guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Game face.
Seem to be doing a lot of looking around, so. All right, so we'll start with you, Tom and Lenny.
Why did I get to start?
Because you'll get the next question.
all right,
okay,
fine.
Cody?
Come on.
all right,
Nice.
so
Ladies
I got
first.
it. I got it, Lenny. Don't worry. I don't need your
Understand.
fist bump anyway.
for the Division II team for ice hockey, for Rowan, when you were looking at the current standings in the Mid-Atlantic Collegiate Hockey Division, they're currently sitting second in their division with 8 points. Penn State and Army are following close behind with 6 each. What do you think the Profs need to improve on as a team to be able to hold their current spot or even move up to the first spot? Tom?
Okay, cool. Well, they got to win at Penn State. Something they really don't always do, and it's a rare thing, and we're making that long trip to Penn State tomorrow. And they got to win. They got to beat Penn State because then, you know, they'll be tied with points. Then Penn State owns the tiebreaker. So they got to win. Mike McGahee's last game. Got to send them off on a good note. And then they just got to, honestly, at this point, I think it comes down to coaching. I think they have the players, but can coach put the right players on the right lines and get consistent chemistry with each player, even if you have to mix up the lines with injury. Talent's there. They got to find the right guys they play with to produce points, not only at the first line, second, third, and fourth.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Tom. The talent is there. It comes down to coaching. It comes down to goaltending, too, which I always like to touch on whenever I'm in the booth with Cody or Tom. This year, it's been great. Cody Riley, Justin Adiello, they've been pretty much splitting time. Justin Adiello was doing great until that last game where he kind of pulled himself out. I think that they need to find their one guy and to really stick with him. Last year was Cody Riley. This year, who knows who it could be. I think that whoever starts tomorrow night needs to stone Penn State, shut out, because that's pretty much the only way they're going to beat Penn State. They're not going to put more than 1 or 2 goals past Mike DeGaetano. Their goaltender, who was MAC Goaltender of the Year, I believe it was 2 years ago. Unbelievable goaltender. Rowan needs to find their guy and stick with him for the rest of the season, and that's the key.
They definitely had a great 1-2 combo, as you said, between the two of them, but definitely moving ahead, it would definitely have to pick one of them. Would definitely be a great advantage. Cody?
Guys, they got to play 60 minutes. It's been the tone of the whole first semester is that they're not playing the 60 minutes, and it's going to be the edge that's going to determine how well they're going to do going forward. In the Westchester game, up 3 goals. They tied it. Up 3 goals against Ryder. They ended up tying the game, ended up going to a shootout. That's twice now at home they've gone to a shootout in the last 2 games. Yeah, in a row. I mean, we haven't seen anything like that in the time we've been here. So, really, they have to play 60 minutes, and you know, this is the last game of the semester. This is the time to be on a high note, go into next semester, riding on a nice hot streak. So, Tom mentioned it. I agree with you. Playing with depth, playing with the roster that they have, they all need to chip in. And when they're at their best, when they have that depth for 60 minutes of play.
And I agree with the fact, like what you guys said, and with the coaching. I mean, that's essentially what it comes down to. But also, Mike McGahee, the way he's been playing recently, and pretty much so far this season, has you have to take that energy if you're going into that game against Penn State tomorrow. And like Cody said, I mean, you got to end the semester on a high note. And if it's Mike McGahee's last game, the way he's been playing, you got to let him lead the way, and you know, hopefully then go into next semester on a high note. Yes,
as you said, definitely carry that momentum over going into the next semester, of course. Cody, who do you think has been the MVP for this team heading into the semester break?
I think I have a sense of what the other picks are going to be. I'm going to go with Aaron Signello, one of the newbies on this Rowan Profs team. The Profs have never really had, in my opinion, a solid center. And I really think Aaron Signello is going to be that going forward. He has a couple goals on the season. He's more of a facilitator as a center. When you're dealing with the Steffi twins out there, those big bodies, some of those more precise skaters, he likes to get them the puck. When you talk about mixing him in the second line with Sam Meyer at times, even when he gets the time with Nikolai and McGahey up front, he's just a really good facilitator, and he wins faceoffs. That's what I love about Aaron Signello. I don't know what his faceoff percentage is, and I don't think they keep that stat, but I think it'd be really high on faceoffs won. He starts plays for the Profs, and he's able to deliver such great plays, and he's really a solid hockey player, and I think he's really got off to a strong start. I'm looking for him in the second semester to be really key, especially with McGahey out. Maybe he could slide into that first line a little bit.
For me, this is my first semester here, the very first game of the season, my first Profs game. Alec Nikolai scored a hat trick, and since then, to me, he's been the MVP for me personally so far this season, because not a lot of people, everyone just likes to look at goals, and with goalies it's either wins or saves, whatever. With Nikolai, you see him padding the assists column. That's the kind of guy that you need on the team, because not everyone likes to look at assists, but he's a real playmaker for on offense, and that's the kind of guy you need who can feed the puck to the centers and the wings, and really, get the puck to the net and give his teammates a chance to score. And to me, that's the kind of guy that you need on your team, is a guy who can create plays.
Absolutely, playmaker is always essential, no matter what sport it is. Tom, Lenny?
I'm actually going to cut Tom off. I'm going to go first. I'm going to go with Sam Meyer. Sam Meyer, he was a freshman last year. He's one of the few freshmen on the team, and he came and was playing first-line minutes as a freshman, which was great, unbelievable, considering they had the Polises, the McGaheys, the Nikolais, and all that on the team last year. Now, Sam is coming back in his sophomore campaign. He's not having the sophomore slump. He's doing great. He's in double-digit points. He's scoring a lot of goals. He's also dishing the puck. And I think that the key for Sam Meyer to come out in the second semester is to kind of take over the scoring. Mike McGahey is going to be leaving, unfortunately, tomorrow against Penn State. Is his last game. And then Alec Nikolai is going to be leaving at the end of the season. So I think that Sam Meyer really needs to start kind of taking over the scoring completely for the team.
This is what the great thing about this team is, if I really wanted to, I could go with a fourth person for MVP. Third in points is Sam. I'm going to go with Chris, though, and say Alec Nikolai. He's the all-time point scorer in the history of this Rowan hockey program. A Rowan hockey program that is in its 40th year, all-time leading point scorer. And you would never know. You would never know just by the way he carries himself on the ice, the way he's picked up the slack since Nikolai left, or since Polis left. Nikolai's been picking up slack. For me, it's got to be Alec Nikolai. Unselfish, leads by example. He's got the stats to back it up. But then again, that's not say I like to say the unsung heroes, Matt Morelli, Pete Kaz. I love defense. I love when defensemen in hockey could score. I love when they could facilitate, and those two have shattered expectations this year and are playing great. Nikolai's still my MVP, but I wanted to mention those two defensemen.
And again, all great picks. You can make, as you guys have done, you can make a case for any one of them. And as you even just said right there, Tom, it's a really deep team. So that's why you get those many options. But let's switch it over to professional basketball now, and we'll start with you two again, starting with you, Lenny. Looking into the season, a lot of people were feeling that the regular season was a waste because it was a two-team race between the Cavaliers and the Warriors. Do you think that the regular season has been more impressive than people thought, or is it a predominantly two-team race still?
Oh, I think it's definitely. I always have been a fan of the regular season because my team, the Brooklyn Nets, is usually not finding themselves in the postseason. So I have to kind of let the basketball sink into me during the regular season. But this year, you got teams like the Rockets. They're doing well. Even now, the Sixers aren't winning games. Now, Chris, I know you're a Sixers fan. You could definitely help me out a little bit more on this, but they're impressive. A team like the Sixers with young talent, a lot of teams are doing that.
Embiid has definitely been.
Yeah. I mentioned the Nets before. They have a lot of young guys. The Knicks have their young guy in Porzingis. It's a good league, and I think that the regular season does help to get the talent and kind of propel them from the bench or maybe from the lower ranks up to the starting, all-star kind of guys. But, yeah, once it comes around to playoff time, it is kind of a two-team race.
I hate this. Does the regular season matter? Is it a thing? Every year, you always hear people saying that. And think about the last time in any major sport where someone said, where it was almost a unanimous, this team's going to win, and it happens. What I could think of is in the middle of the season of the '98 Yankees. That's really it. And everything's so unpredictable because of what happens in the playoffs. And here's the thing. You hear the term short game series thrown out in basketball for 5 and 7. That's not a short game series. The longest series they're going to play. So in these longer game series, things, it's said the better team will come out and win, but that doesn't always happen. So the regular season, it needs to be there. That being said, I can appreciate greatness, and I can appreciate watching this, the Warriors and the Cavs. But you need to play the regular season. I think that's an asinine statement asking if it matters, or a question, I should say.
Yeah, you still got to prove yourself, still got to get there, or the top
Sound
seeds.
like Stephen A. right there, Tom.
A little bit of a rant,
Yeah.
Cody.
When you talk about the NBA, they play an 82. I'm going to piggyback right off him. When you talk about an 82-game season, it's not like you play 16 like the NFL, and it's not like you have so many opportunities in 162 games in the Major League Baseball. You're at right about that mid-market 82, and the NHL's right there with them. You have to play an entire season, and this is not a two-team race right now, I think. I think there's a ton of teams right now in the NBA that are playing extremely well. The Clippers are one of them, a team that, in my opinion, really just keeping that starting lineup together. You got Blake Griffin, you got DeAndre Jordan, you got Chris Paul.
Crawford on the bench.
Crawford on the bench.
And JJ Redick. And if they make a trade, too, because obviously they have a surplus in guards, who knows what could happen with DeAndre Jordan down low,
Just
too.
the other night, they were blown out by the Warriors.
One
It's
game.
early. It's early.
One game. Again, you play 82
One of 82.
them, and you played one game there. So, and again, what's going to happen playoff time? We don't know. I really like the Clippers. I like their experience. Look out for the Celtics in the East. I think they can really turn some heads. I really honestly think they're going to make the playoffs.
Their coach, well, Brad Stevens is good.
So well.
Brad Stevens is a
Brad
great guy.
Stevens is great, and they have the depth on that team. I think they could be a contender in the East.
And for me, being a Sixers fan, they're 4-18 right now, but most of those 18 losses, it's been exciting to watch Joel Embiid and Dario Saric.
Absolutely.
But I agree with these two. It's not a two-team race at all because even though Golden State and Cleveland are leading their respective conferences, they have teams nipping at their heels. You have the Clippers in the West. In the East, like you said, Boston can turn some heads. So really, there is competition. And look, once the playoffs come around, it's a whole nother season. And you still, even though if you prove yourself through those 82 games, now it all starts over. And you never know. Sixers beating #1 seeded Bulls in 2012. Just saying.
We can talk about that next time when we have more time, Chris.
Even though they didn't have Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah, but still.
Doesn't matter.
Sixers fans bringing up the past. Well, thank you guys, but that is all the time we have
Nothing in the present.
for this Rowan Roundtable. Up next, Cody and Chris will recap the latest from women's volleyball team. We will be right back.
Welcome back. Time to shoot some hoops and see how the basketball teams have been doing. Chris?
Thanks, Cody. The women's basketball team defeated conference rival William Patterson University by a score of 83-70 on Saturday night. Guard Anissa Sanchez tallied a double-double with 20 points and 11 rebounds, while also recording 6 assists and 5 steals. Samantha Tello and Alex Raring both scored 15 points. Guard Summer Crilly set a career high by grabbing 10 rebounds.
The women's basketball team fought their way to a win over TCNJ 65-58 on Wednesday night. Down 6 points with 7:49 to play, Rowan went on a 12-0 run to help take the lead. Guard Anissa Sanchez had a double-double with 17 points and 13 rebounds. Guard Summer Crilly had 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals. The Profs improved to 7-1 overall and 3-1 in the NJAC. They host Montclair State on Saturday at 1 p.m.
Down by 6 with 2:22 remaining, the men's basketball team came back to beat William Patterson 78-75 on Saturday afternoon. The Profs shot a poor 34% from the field, however. Rowan scored 10 of the last 11 points in the game to seal the victory. Forward Sean Wilson led the Profs with 17 points, 6 rebounds, an assist, and a block. Forwards Gary Carthen, TJ Booth had 11 points and a block apiece.
In a non-conference matchup, the men's basketball team fell to Eastern University 116-99 on Monday night. Forward Lincoln Holly had a double-double for the Eagles with 11 points and 11 rebounds. Forward Shaquan Turk was the leading scorer with 23 points. He shot a perfect 8 for 8 from the field and 4 for 4 from the free throw line. For the Profs, forward Sean Wilson had 21 points and guard Rod DePerge had 15.
TCNJ came back to beat the Profs 87-79 on Wednesday night. Corey Stanford led the Lions in scoring with 22 points. Eric Murdoch Jr. had a double-double with 18 points and 10 assists. For the Profs, Sean Wilson was the top scorer again with 19 points, and Gary Carthen had a double-double with 12 points and 11 rebounds. TCNJ improved to 7-2 overall and a perfect 4-0 in the NJAC, while the Profs fell to 6-3 overall and a 3-1 conference record. The Profs will look to get back in the win column on Saturday when they host Montclair State at 3 p.m.
The Rowan University men's indoor track and field team began the 2016-17 campaign at the Lehigh University season opener on Friday. The Profs placed first in 5 events. Jeffrey Tucker took first in the long jump with a time of 23 feet and 3/4 inches. He also tied for first in the high jump, jumping 6 feet, 8.75 inches. Dave Benjamin was the winner in the 60-meter hurdles with a time of 8.32 seconds. Dexter Anderson finished first in the 200-meter race with a time of 22.88 seconds. Jamil Jackson captured first in the 400 meters, running in 50.89 seconds.
The Rowan University women's indoor track and field team also began the 2016-17 campaign at the Lehigh University season opener on Friday. In the 800 meters, Claire Cantalupo took second with a time of 2 minutes and 20.99 seconds. In the 400 meters, Kelly Voigt finished in third place with a time of 1 minute, 1.46 seconds. The 4x400 meter relay of Cantalupo, Amanda Brown, Brianna Angelella, and Jesselyn Wright crossed the finish line in third with a time of 4 minutes, 2.5 seconds.
Rowan University was able to have select athletes at the women's indoor track and field team compete in the Bow Tie Classic that was held at Ursinus College this past Saturday. The Profs as a team finished 7th out of the 12 teams that competed and were led by Emily Acton, taking second place in the 5,000 meters. Acton was followed shortly after by teammate Jennifer Clavens, who claimed third. Rowan will return to action on January 13th at the Ramapo College season opener.
The D2 ice hockey team won a thriller in a shootout against Rider University on Saturday at home. The Profs jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first period with goals from Mike McGahee, Alec Nikolai, and Matt Morelli. Rider answered back with 3 unanswered goals of their own to send the game into overtime, but the 5 minutes of extra hockey was not enough. In the shootout, Mike McGahee scored the lone goal in his final home game to give the Profs the 4-3 shootout win.
The ice hockey team headed to The Rock in Newark to take on Wagner on Sunday. The Prudential Center was the backdrop for the 4-3 Profs win. After allowing the first goal, Rowan answered with goals from Zach Glanding and Sam Meyer. Wagner tied the game at 2 in the second period. In the third, both teams traded goals, with the Prof goal coming from Brandon Cacavalli. Then, with less than 4 minutes left in regulation, Mike McGahee scored to give the Profs the lead and the win. Rowan travels to face Penn State on Friday at 9 p.m.
And with that, that does it for our 25th season of All Access. Special thanks to our crew and talent for all of their hard work this season, and a special thanks to you for tuning in. For Lenny Schnee, Kevin Cornell, Tom Stanapoli, Cody Decker, and the entire All Access team, I'm Chris Devine, and to all students, good luck on your finals. And to the rest of our viewers, we wish you a happy holidays, and we will see you in 2017.
Thanks, Lenny. Shut I knew they were gonna do that. I'm so happy I did that.
Tucker got the gold in the long jump. Oh, man!
It said gold!
He got gold team rules.
The distance of 23 feet. Chris, you suck!